Hey everyone, Dave Floss here from Mentally Unbalanced and Prometheus Falling Toys. And today I'm going to talk about something not Transformers related. A lot of my recent videos have been very Transformer centric, but today I'm going to talk about something different, and that is board games during lockdown. And what I've been playing and what I'm hoping to play soon. Before I get into the games, I do need to take a moment because I put a lot of videos up recently and I've gotten some great feedback and some great responses. So first thing I want to do is just say thank you. Thank you to everybody who's taken some time to watch the video, especially those who've commented or subscribed. So if you do like this video or our other videos, of course I'm going to ask you, if you haven't, click subscribe. We'd love to get more followers, and we're really pushing that we can get enough followers that we can customize our YouTube channel and our YouTube name. So that has to be at least 100 subscribers. And we got a ways to go. Anyway, so if you can help us out, we'd really appreciate it. But with that, let's get to the content. So as I said, today I'm going to talk about board games. So we're almost a year in lockdown, in COVID, in limiting our interaction with other people. Now, ultimately, I'm very fortunate, right? And the reason I'm fortunate is that I have a small circle of friends that I'm still able to have contact with, right? It's one of those things where we all isolated kind of together. We've been around each other. We all take this pretty seriously, and to keep each other safe. But we've been able to have this very small circle of friends, right, that I get to see semi-regularly, as opposed to, obviously, there's many people out there that I haven't been able to see either at all or in a very limited fashion. And it's been a long road, as I'm sure it has been for many. So for me, being able to occasionally get together with some folks and socialize has been huge. And it's been a mix. It's been sometimes in person for again, that close circle of people. And for others, it's been, like probably many of you, I'm using various online chat tools or video conferencing tools, and even some online gaming tools like Roll20 as an example for role-playing games, and some others for board games and things like that. But ultimately, while those are neat, and I'm not going to downplay how fantastic it is that in this world of 2021 we can connect with people in so many different ways. And for some of us, that has probably been a lifeline to at least be able to get online and do things with other people. For me, I've been playing board games a really long time, right? I've been playing with both new players, but also a close-knit group of folks for a very long time. And there's just nothing to me that can replace getting around a table and playing a board game or playing a different game. So today I'm going to kind of talk about some of the games that I've been playing in the last year to help get through these times, and some of the games that I'm hoping to play soon. Now, this is just, I have a nice variety of games, but there seems to be a few that we really focused on. So it's not every single thing I've played, but, some of the notable mentions that I'm going to bring up today. So, again, in no particular order, I'll start with role-playing games. Right. So besides board games, I'm also big into role-playing games. I've been playing role-playing games since the 80s. Everything Dungeons and Dragons, Rifts, Star Wars, GURPS. If there's a role-playing game out there, I've probably tried to play it at least once. Now, for me, for the most part, especially in the last decade, it went from being a player to being a game master. I just started running all the games, right? And well, that's awesome in many respects, and I love the storytelling aspect of it. It can also get a little bit exhaustive. So I was really excited when I heard about and picked up a game last year, which was the Alien role-playing game from Free League Press. And I'm not going to do like deep dive reviews and all the mechanics and everything else. There's great resources for that online. But I just want to talk about kind of the highlight for me of this particular game, which is that it has these cinematic adventures, kind of these one-off adventures, very well predefined. So as a game master, to be able to, where I don't necessarily have a lot of time to completely craft a game, and I also might have a very limited amount of time with my players and play sessions, having something kind of pre-constructed, and that's just one, it's just one cinematic adventure. It's just one, it's one and done. You play it and you're done. It's not a long campaign, which can be a little bit more challenging for some. So what's great about it is these cinematic adventures. They play out. There's a few now that have come out. They came out with an expansion called Destroyer of Worlds. They have another one called Chariot of the Gods, and they vary in time. Right, some of them take a few hours. Some of them you could play over a few different nights, but it's nice because you have some flexibility. Now, the last comments I'll make about Alien is not just the fact that it's very easy to play quickly out of the box using these cinematic adventures, but the style of the gameplay is really fantastic. It's intense, right? So if you can, check out some reviews or some playthroughs on this, because it is not it's not your standard Dungeons and Dragons. It's not your standard adventure campaign. It is really built around the canon and the idea behind Alien being horror, right, and being intense and stressful, and there's a lot more that I could unpack, and maybe I'll do another video on this. I do have an unboxing video, right? Again, it just kind of talks about the core game, the expansions. There's a starter kit. Stuff like that. If you're interested, you can check out that video. But again, this to me has been a really great game to play, because it's funny. When we end the game, players and game master alike, we're kind of all like really jazzed up, but also exhausted at the same time. And I think that speaks actually to it being a really solid game. So role-playing games aside, let's put that down there for a minute. Let's get into some board games. Well, probably a good segue right here is if you're playing Alien, the role-playing game, then jump into Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Court from Gale Force 9. This game came out, or I got it toward the end of last year, and it really is kind of a repack of the Aliens adventure game. This time it's war game, but it definitely been upgraded as far as the components. This is somewhere, if you've ever played StarCraft, is probably a good way for me to describe this game. It's you versus the mechanics of the game, so it is a cooperative game. And let me be honest, during COVID, when you don't get to get together with people very often, though, you'll probably see a theme in most of the games I'm going to show you, in that a lot of them are cooperative. In other words, I'm not in the mood to argue and fight and be, going after other players. Now, that's just me, right? Maybe that's exactly what you want. You want to get out some frustration. But for me, the cooperative games have worked really well to be able to to play against the dynamics of the game with my fellow players, as opposed to player versus player. And Aliens does a really, really decent job of that. We had a good time. Now, there was a bit of a learning curve the first time we played it. Going back and playing it again was better the second time around. So maybe just allow yourself that, they say that the game follows a kind of a linear, or you can follow a linear story progression, right? It's basically like playing through the Aliens movie with these characters. And so we started with the first mission, which was basically you got to go find Newt, right? We just got on LV-426. We're at Hadley's Hope. We're trying to find Newt. And I don't remember how long they suggested that mission would take, but it took us about twice as long, because there was definitely a lot of going back and checking the rules and looking at stuff. But ultimately, once we got through that, it is just a fun, run and gun, shoot, try to, mission complete type of game that we were able to play. So that's Aliens. Now another one, and this might be a little bit on the nose, so I apologize, is two games that we've been playing. And these are the Pandemic Legacy games. There's a Season 1 and a Season 2 that we played. So we finished Season 1, and I will share just briefly that we started this game, we started Season 1 in January of last year. And we had played a couple times, and then we were really kind of picking it up right at the beginning of March, and I guess I'll say it's a little creepy because we really got into, oh my goodness, this game is getting harder. The dynamics of the world are changing. There's a huge pandemic, and then we got hit with a real pandemic. So I'm hoping that those are not connected in any possible way. But ironically, there was something about playing a pandemic-based game while you're in a pandemic. It's hard to describe, but what makes Pandemic Legacy, because there's a number of other pandemic, there's the original pandemic game, cooperative game, a number of expansions. They've come out with different variants of the pandemic line. But legacy games are different in that you play the same game over and over and over again, right? Hence a season. And what happens in each game can dramatically change the environment or the capabilities as you play through the game. So the concept is you play through this game all the way till the end, and then the game is done. I mean, you've ultimately, the board has been changed, areas have been destroyed, all this stuff is going on. Maybe you cured stuff, maybe you didn't. It's different every time you play it, and even if you technically played it once with one group, it's not the same if you pick up another copy and play it again, because your actions determine how the game plays. Now, if I do a quick shot of the back of the box here, the legacy game of Pandemic, Season 1, plays very similar from the start as the regular Pandemic board game. Now, everything else starts to change after that because of the aspect of it being a legacy game. But if you've played Pandemic, it's not going to be hard to jump in and get all that extra value out of Season 1, because it's built on generally the same mechanics and the same play. So we had a lot of fun, and we eventually did finish the game completely for Season 1, which led us right to Pandemic Legacy Season 2. Now, we're actually just in the middle of this game, and what I will say is, if you played Season 1, don't be concerned that Season 2 is going to just be kind of the same thing with slightly different mechanic. It is practically an entirely different game. It has very little follow-up from the Season 1, and it definitely is a different game than the standard Pandemic. So very different mechanics, different types of characters, different theme. Fits well within, the Pandemic universe, but not the same game by any stretch of the imagination. And from our experience so far more challenging. Definitely more challenging playing through Season 2. But it's been a lot of fun. We've enjoyed it. And it was definitely kind of a neat break from what we had been playing in some of the other games. So we've been playing a few other things. We played Risk Legacy. We've played a couple other standalone board games. But ultimately, those are the games that, again, also from the simplicity of, we may not have a lot of time together. We don't want to have to learn a whole brand new set of rules. So being able to play, whether it's a legacy type game or a game that everybody enjoys playing more than once, all these games kind of fit in that category. Once you learn the mechanics, you get a lot of play time out of them without having to learn a brand new game each and every time you get together. With that being said, the last part is, what am I hoping to play? So as we hope that things settle down, right, and we have an opportunity to either get together with people more frequently and have more time together, there's two games that I've been very excited to play. The first one is the Dune board game. Now, this is the Gale Force 9 repack of the original 1979, if you can believe it, Dune board game, which is still one of this highest rated types of games, all the way back from 1979. It was in many ways maybe ahead of its time in that respect. And Gale Force 9 has done a great job of repackaging and updating the components while still holding on to kind of the core mechanics of that original Dune game. So while I've had an opportunity to unpack it a number of times and go through the components a number of times, we haven't had a chance to play it yet. And it's not a short game, right? You're looking at a few hours. And again, that's minus the first-time player learning curve. So just, once you've played it, the standard play time is at least 2 hours. So we're really hoping to get some time to really unbox this and and enjoy some time with the Shai Hulud of Dune, right? And Wadib. And of course, I'm excited not only because I didn't have the original Dune game, so this is a great way to be able to play a game that I've heard a lot about and I've seen a couple times, but never been able to play it with these updated components and slightly revised rules. And then right in the same vein. So I'm super excited for the new Dune movie coming out. Of course, it got delayed. That's disappointing. But a lot of, what we've learned is as movies and TV or other things have been delayed, there were a lot of products already planning to be released. So, for example, I have some of the Dune movie Funko Pops. They've already come out. And where we got a little bit lucky is that we got this great new board game, and it's still got the cellophane on there, so you're going to get some reflection. But it's Dune Imperium. Imperium. And this is a Dune game. This is a new Dune game based on the movie, right? Or at least I should say it's a Dune game, and the cards, the characters, everything is definitely built on the likeness of the movie that's coming out. So that's kind of exciting. Now, I haven't had a chance to play it, so I can't tell you, how does it compare with the Gale Force 9 Dune. You always kind of run that risk with when they do movie tie-in games. They can be very hit or miss. Some of them have been really great games, right? Where it comes down to this. As long as the mechanics are there, you can put whatever pop culture theme around a game. But if the mechanics are solid and it's entertaining, then you're going to do okay. And this Imperium game looks to be fairly complex. It doesn't look like just your standard simple mechanics, throw Dune on the cards and call it a day. And we've seen that with some other games that are fun, but definitely seem to be very similar, whether it's Dark Crystal or the Labyrinth or even the Jaws game, where it's pretty simple mechanics and it was more about the theme than mechanics. This one, I'm hoping, again, I can't say for sure, but I'm hoping that this one seems very mechanics driven, and the theme is then laid on top to enhance that. So, that's just a little bit of what we've been doing. We've been spending a lot of time doing, and I'm sure like many of you, you're constantly looking for outlets, hopefully healthy outlets, right? So between video games and other things, all I can say is if you have an opportunity to get together with people in person or online, these games might be something you might be interested in to play with your group. And of course, we must say that no matter what you do, we ultimately hope you stay healthy, you stay happy, and we're able to keep connecting like this for a long time to come. So thanks again to everybody. If you like this video or the others, like I said, do us a favor, click subscribe. We have 2 Facebook pages. If you can go out there and like them as well, you'll see the links at the end of the video. And I just want to again say with a huge heartfelt thank you to everyone that's been really supportive of me and Mentally Unbalanced as we've been making these videos for you. So until then, be well and take care.